and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
Good day to you. It clearly is daytime because look at the, look how summery you look. Look at that.
Well, it is, I've got, this is the, going on a picnic shirt. I mean, you're wearing pink for crying out loud. Look at you, metrosexual.
It's 2023, you can wear whatever you want these days.
Is that still a thing, metrosexual? Can I still say that?
Yeah, like in the same way that if anyone says anything, you can go, "What's up?" like a Budweiser advert. That's exactly the modern reference that one should be using.
I'm over 50 now, so my references had to stop. I can't gain new references.
What's up, you metrosexual? That's really right on. No, I'm wearing pink because I now have a tan. So, yeah, you can got a bit of a tan. Let me show you the tan.
That's nice.
Look at that wrist.
Oh my God. But don't show the underside of the wrist.
It's quite white.
Look at that. That's showing off the white balance.
This is how I set up my camera, using that bit. I've only got a tan on the outside because I only get a tan when I go for a run. And, I don't run like this when I'm going down the street. Some people run like this.
What? Why?
Try it. It's not how I run, it's how I fight.
Elbow first, like you're trying to connect during COVID.
I've been trying. So, right, this is an embarrassing thing. Thankfully, very few people watch this, but I'll tell you. I've been doing more running, like we mentioned a while ago. It's good for my mental health and stuff. And I've really doubled down on the being an arsehole about it because I've been running every day and every other day listening to motivational podcasts while I do it. Oh, God. But I do find it turns you into a Tom Cruise runner. Like you end up running with your hands like that because you're just trying to get in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you driven a motorcycle off any cliffs lately?
Not yet, but I've not listened to like week 3 of the podcast yet. So,
have you joined a cult?
Yeah.
Alleged cult.
I definitely did, actually. Honestly, yesterday I joined what seemed like a cult. I took my son to a music group in one of the community centres, and it was the first time I'd been there. And we sat down, and he sat on my lap. And then the woman starts singing, and everyone knows the words. I'm like, "Hello and welcome to the music train. We are here to..." I'm like, "How you're chanting? This is the closest to a cult I've ever been." And I thought, okay, they know all the words because they must have done this for weeks. And then there's a bit when she covers previous week's topics on a little chart. And I was there on week 5. In 4 weeks, she had indoctrinated all of these women to be like, "We are here to learn music. It is good. Clap, clap, clap." I didn't realise that they get them young, don't they?
Were you the only dad?
Of course I was the only dad. Yeah.
God.
The only source of testosterone. They loved it. I
had to go to a music group with my kids, and they did not trust me. Those mums.
Oh, really?
Never. You'd think sometimes you'd be like, "Oh, the dad that foot's little." But to be fair, I was really not enjoying being there, so maybe I wasn't very friendly. But they had coffee and tea and things afterwards, and I just left. Really? It was a low point of parenthood.
Oh, I did I got offered a drink. They did try and be inclusive, but I was like, no. I'm here for him to meet people, not me.
One thing to bring a little attention to the show, where we talk about the news, solve the world's problems, as we have done for much time now, and the world is doing much, much better. I just saw, I haven't seen Mission Impossible yet. I don't know if it's out. Is it out? I don't know if it's out. It could be out.
I could probably download it even if it's not.
It might not be out. It's the same. But I did see Indiana Jones, and the excitement and the tension that's there, that sort of dun-dun-dun. So I thought we could bring a little bit of that drama today. So today, as we record the show, right, or it's live, whatever.
Yep.
I have a delivery that's 6 stops away. When that delivery comes, the dog will bark. Can we, in this mission, should we choose to accept, I'm not going back to Mission Impossible, get the show recorded before the delivery arrives?
6 stops.
He's at the end of the road. I can see him. He's got the little Amazon.
Oh. That is tricky. That is tricky. I get annoyed by the fact that they ring the doorbell and I think someone's there, and then I go and open the door and there's no one there. It's like they literally do the knock a door run thing, don't they?
Well, this particular delivery is going to solve that problem for me because we're getting a Ring doorbell.
It's the worst title for anything I've ever heard. Because the idea of, you don't want the word ring associated to it. Do you know the company linked to it had some trouble with the workers spying on people?
Well, I hope they did. That's
Mm.
what I'm going to be putting on a show.
At least someone's watching. Because there was a news story about the workers at Ring Doorbell, like 2 of them were sacked or something, for spying on people in their bathrooms. And I thought the biggest question is, who has a doorbell in the bathroom? Just ding dong, want to come out? Some people, you know what? Whatever you do in your own home, that's up to you. Go for it.
Yeah. Can have a different hole in the bathroom door.
Well, that's why it's called a Ring Doorbell.
6 stops. Okay, so
let's crack on.
We've got some big news. We don't really talk about the Ukrainian war because it is hilarious.
Mm.
But this was an interesting story that caught my eye, as I thought war is bad, except when it's maybe a little bit good, which we can see here. Ukrainian helicopter crews say women flash them as they fly overhead to boost their morale fighting Russia. I mean, is that okay in 2023?
I think the bigger question is, why did it not happen during the Second World War? It's an interesting one.
Really, no helicopters, Steve.
No, but we had aerial superiority.
Spitfires.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're way up there. You can't do a booby flash.
You do whatever you
plane
can.
At 10,000 feet.
You do whatever you can. This is why when we were clapping for the nurses, I wasn't. Whatever the end of that joke is that involves my business. You know.
Well, to be fair, during World War II in England, there were so many American troops, like my grandfather. The ladies were busy.
Yeah.
So when the planes were going ahead, they were flashing their boobies, but not at the planes.
Disgraceful.
My grandpa had a girlfriend here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, I hope we're not related.
But yeah, I think it's nice. I mean, I just, you got to make sure, if you're doing that, it's got to be the right helicopter, because you don't want to flash the Russians.
Mm.
That's giving away state secrets.
Yep.
But actually, what they have to be careful of is the fact that it's not just men that are fighting wars anymore. The women are also getting involved. Beyond boosting morale, we can say with Comic Solving Problems, we have exclusive footage of newly released armory that has been put into the battlefield right here. Look at that.
That'd do it.
So that plane that just crashed in the whatever sea is near Russia.
Yeah.
That was it.
Do we not think the bigger worry, to address the gender issue, firstly, everyone loves boobs. How
big?
Everyone loves boobs.
Okay.
That's just a thing, isn't it? And also, I'm sure that we could arrange it so that, for female helicopter pilots, someone could flash the dink. Everyone loves dink.
Definitely.
That's probably not true.
Not true.
But the bigger worry is, like, it's all fun and games, isn't it? Thinking, I know what I'll do to support the war effort. Whenever someone goes overhead, I'll be like, there you go. Until that means that helicopter then crashes straight into something because the guy flying it's been like, and then all of a sudden you have to stop doing it. It is a risk. If anything, they should be flashing the Russian ones when they're right next to a mountain.
That's true. That's true. But do you remember the movie Blue Thunder? Oh God, this is a 1980s movie.
The one that's
where they had
not
the silent
quite
helicopter.
Yeah, not quite Nighthawk. No, Nighthawk was the bike. Not quite Airwolf. Blue Thunder was the Betamax version.
The Roy Schneider movie, and the pinnacle scene at the end. Do you remember?
No.
Because it's a silent helicopter. That's the whole thing. It's this super armored, intensive helicopter that can battle the gangs of LA. But they use it to silently fly outside this woman's window and peer and spy on her while she takes a bath.
The war effort. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And in the 1980s, 83, that was perfectly acceptable.
I love the idea that the sound was the only thing to worry about. That someone looks out the window, sees a massive helicopter, but only the sound would tip them off.
And it made sort of a shh sound.
The wind, like everything being blown around. But no, the only thing that you would notice would be the sound of a helicopter. If you can't hear one, it's not really there.
Yeah. But when I was 13 years old, I loved that movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Two scenes in particular. The beginning scene where they did it, and then at the end, after they'd fought all the battles, they went back to the woman.
How long was she bathing for? That's ridiculous.
She bathed a lot.
She must have been mainly wrinkly. By the, when you go all like wrinkly fingered. Is that what they were looking at? Some people are into weird stuff.
I mean, that was in 1983, so she is now.
Very true. There was a story about Joan Collins in the paper the other day where she said Hollywood parties are nowhere near as raunchy as they used to be. And I did think, you're 90 now, so probably that's because people don't want to, you know. So that might be it. Just bearing that in mind. Blue Thunder sounds like it's an energy drink, doesn't it?
It was, I mean, that particular part of the film you may not like, but it has 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. And but we better move on because we are.
That's true.
How many stops away? Well, we're holding at 6 stops. So
what is he doing round at that address? He's having a long drop off there, isn't he?
Yeah, there's some complication, but he's very close.
It's the modern day version of Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West. So the problem I'm going to solve is global warming.
Oh, good. I've heard of it.
Because the front pages of the newspapers today, let's go with the Mirror, a child is carried from their blazing home as inferno temperatures sweep across Europe. This is the terrifying reality of today's climate crisis, burning up. I think you mean he's nearly burning to death because of weather, which tends to be the main defense against climate change, isn't it? Just go, what, it's hot in July? Front page of the Eye. 47 degrees Celsius in Europe as Med faces new reality. What, that it's hot? Yeah, but 47 degrees is like it's a record-breaking temperature. There's always been a record temperature. Like, there's always been a hottest day of the year forever. So, like, some of the other news stories to do with weather. I'm just really going for the good counter-arguments. I'm slightly straw-manning it. But you can't straw-man it. Not in this weather. It'll go up like an absolute tinderbox. Earth sets its hottest day record for 3rd time in a week. I mean, it would, wouldn't it? Because it's a hot week. I mean, that's always happened. So, well, I don't even know why we're upset about climate change. And people go on about man-made climate change. What? Because they're all woke hipsters who prefer handmade, artisanal climate change. So there's an interesting one. Look at this. Katie Price has declared that she gets hotter every day. So I don't know how that somehow would add into it, but something is happening.
Is she man-made?
She's definitely she's definitely mainly man-made, and she is getting hotter every day, which means maybe she's the cause of it. I don't know. But it's got a serious side to it. The last year's heat wave in Europe, 2022, caused nearly 62,000 deaths just in that period. In most countries, women's died at higher rates, but they are already hotter than we are, as we learnt from the Ukraine story. But how bad are temperatures in comparison to the past? We had a kind of an argument with someone on email who was saying you can't compare it to 1976 because where they put the weather stations was different back then, and now they've moved the weather sensors to warmer places, like near the side of roads rather than wherever they used to be. You know, everything was all fields back then in the 70s. And even if that's true, this story compares it to, if you look not at the main headline, which is World Experience's hottest week, but down the bottom, global temperatures for 120,000 years. That's quite a while, isn't it? I mean, do they tell us how many humans died 120,000 years ago? No, they don't, because there are so many of these good arguments about climate change. One is, and you may have seen this on social media, people tweet the picture of the weather forecast from the old days that had hotter temperatures than these days with the red. And I'm not sure if this is the full counter-argument, but I just want to say, back then, wasn't it because people didn't have the ability to swap the background graphics as much as you can now? Like now you can literally animate the arse off anything. Whereas back then the green wasn't, look at it, the green wasn't representing temperature. It was representing land. And now you can actually see where the temperature, instead of just having a vague number near it, the color system is better because it tells you the areas that temperature would be in. But because you find the old picture of like it used to be, they're trying to say, oh, they're just adding red to it to make us, I mean, it's always been hot. Look, it used to be hot back then.
Yeah.
Then there's some other arguments. Let's have a look. I can't even remember which one this is. This is the one where people say, actually, carbon dioxide is good for us. We used to have much higher levels. We did during the period before mammals were around. So that's true. Plants love it. And that genuinely is an argument I've seen online. Carbon dioxide is good for plants. It's plant food. Yeah. But just because something is good doesn't mean having more of it is better. Because oxygen, I'm a big fan. It's 21% of the atmosphere. I use it almost every day. But if you get too much, you get oxygen toxicity. Literally too much oxygen would kill humans. So having more and more carbon dioxide you think is good for plants. But there's a video that's been doing the rounds on Twitter. And I want to go through some of it because you know me, nerdy scientist, this one wound me right up. It's in America, of course it is. Here's the start of the TikTok video.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Panelists, let me just go right down the line real fast. What percent of our atmosphere is CO2?
Now, the annoying thing about that is the caption told us right at the start, say, spoiler alert. The whole video, half of it is him making people guess what percentage it is. But we already know it's 0.04. But here's a bit where some guessing happens.
Wild guess, it's okay.
Good guess.
I'll bite 5%.
5?
I think that might be bad subtitling. I don't think he said, I'll abide 5%, unless that is some deep Texan kind of, wow, I do declare, I will abide 5%. I think he was saying, I'll buy 5%. I think he thinks it's a quiz shot. And it's annoying, isn't it? Because he's making people guess 8%, 5%, and he's just sitting there like a smug dude in a pub who knows the answer to something. Do you want to guess how much it is? So eventually...
The answer is 0.04%.
Yeah.
Not 1%, not half of a percent. It's 0.04%, and it's gone up from 0.03 over the last couple decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2.
Okay. The tiny change in CO2, and CO2 is 0.4%. Eric, do you know how much of our atmosphere can contribute to the greenhouse effect? Not global warming, actually. Not even bad stuff. You know, the fact that this planet should be colder if it weren't for our atmosphere keeping a bit of heat in. The good greenhouse effect. Do you know how much percentage of our atmosphere can even contribute towards that? I mean, I know the answer. I'm just being a dick like this guy.
50%?
50%. Anyone else want to guess? There's no one else here. How do I draw this out longer?
Dog.
Eric?
I'll ask the dog. What does he think?
Oh, it's close.
He said 16%.
Closer than your guess. It's 1%. Of all of the atmosphere.
Close.
And here's where we get the science. I've made some things. Most of our atmosphere, like 72%, is nitrogen. Here's nitrogen. Nitrogen is two nitrogens triple bonded together, so the electrons hang out in the middle, and this is a symmetrical molecule down the middle, right? Can't interact with photons. There's no dipole, no dipole moment.
Okay.
This, it's not boobies, it's oxygen. Double bonded oxygen. The electrons would be in the, I mean, if a Ukrainian helicopter goes past, I will show them this, but the electrons will be in the middle. There's no dipole moment. It doesn't matter what it does, it can't interact with a photon. Carbon dioxide, now oxygen can hold on to the electrons better than carbon. That's why they're nearer the oxygens, but it's symmetrical about the middle. There's no dipole moment here. Are you telling me that carbon dioxide can actually have a dipole moment and interact with photons? Yeah, because when it gets warm, it wiggles. One of the wiggles would be the carbon can get higher than the oxygens, and then the electrons are down here, lack of electrons up here, you get a dipole moment in this direction. So the weird thing about carbon dioxide is the hotter it gets, the better a greenhouse gas it is. So as it gets hotter, it makes things warm up even more. Water does it as well, don't get me wrong, there's a dipole moment on H2O. So out of all of the atmosphere, there's only 1% that could give us greenhouse effect. So the idea that 0.04 is incredibly small, it's 0.04 of the 100, but it's 4% of the gases that we're looking at. And that thing where he said it used to be 0.03, now it's 0.04, we're talking about a tiny change. No, it's a 33% increase. That's just maths.
But of a tiny number. It's a 33% increase of a tiny number.
No, it's not.
It's like I tell my wife.
It's a 33% increase of quite a large number unless you divide it by all of the atmosphere, which includes 99% that can't interact with photons.
Is that the photons that make the torpedoes?
No. Well, yes, probably. It's these photons coming from the sun, and they excite the molecule because of the dipole, and it spins around more. It just spins around, but it knocks into other molecules, and that's what gives us heat.
You're using a lot of fancy words and things and numbers and stuff that no one can independently verify, and
no one can measure. No one could work out that 0.03 to 0.04 is a 33% increase.
That is your allegation and your opinion. Whereas I can look outside and it's cold in Britain right now. It's cold weather, So obviously all this stuff is overbaked.
My
Literally, if you're in
my
Southern
favourite
Europe.
denial of climate change is when it snows in winter, and I thought they said it was getting hotter. Brilliant.
It's the sound. Yeah. I like the discussion I saw recently on television where someone was saying this July is the hottest July ever. And somebody said, well, I'd like to see a July compared to like a December.
Yep.
And somebody was saying, well, if it's the hottest July ever, that means July is usually the hottest month. So that means it is hotter than all the months ever. But it's the person made the point that it's not a like for like comparison with December.
Yep.
That was a really logical argument.
It was a beautiful piece of television, that. I wish I could have enjoyed it myself.
I would imagine you didn't. Right. I've got 3 stops, Steve. We're so close.
Well, I'm done.
Okay.
I've solved everyone's problem with climate change.
Will it update? It skipped from 6. Oh, God, he's so close. He's near the chip shop now.
He'll be there for a while.
So, final story. Very exciting news. We just give us the headline right there. There it is. Donald Trump has been given a target letter for his next indictment. So what happens is the Department of Justice sends you a letter to say, hi, we were thinking about indicting you. If you want to come in and testify to the grand jury, which is the group that makes the decision on whether to indict and to, basically charge you for a crime and have you arrested for it, they say to the person who's going to be charged, this is your last chance. And then Donald Trump was offered that chance before the Mar-a-Lago charge with the documents. He declined because usually if you are guilty, you decline. But I mean, you don't have to incriminate yourself. That's fine. But he's been given the target letter. So we expect, possibly by the time that this goes out, but definitely the legal experts are saying within the next 4 or 5 days, Donald Trump will be indicted again. Boom, 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 boom. So that's my little indictment song. This is over January 6th, where basically he coerced an insurrection out of a bunch of really thick people. I think that's the tech. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, if you
could say
can't
basket
identify
of
the Donald Trump,
deplorables. There are
they
other
were,
ways of saying it.
and the thing is, yes, Hillary Clinton got a lot of trouble for saying their basket of deplorables, and then 4 years later, they stormed the Capitol, led to the deaths of 5 police officers, and put their feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk. But no, they're good people. There's good people on both sides. Who said that? Oh, it was Donald Trump talking about a bunch of white supremacists. So some people, he's been in court fighting for one of his other court cases to be postponed until after the election because he's too busy. He's too busy to be charged with a crime. So, I mean, it won't make any difference. His poll numbers will go up. His fundraising will go up. But it is something called justice.
Yeah, I think America is post-justice right now. But if justice happens, it will just yet again fuel the people who consider justice to be an injustice.
Yeah.
It's clever, isn't it? Well, I mean, I honestly thought the cleverest thing that happened during the whole Trump thing was making the press seem like they're the bad guys. Therefore, if the press say anything bad about you, you go, well, fake media, fake news, whatever. It goes deeper than that. It's really clever. I'm really impressed by how they've done it.
What's great is there's about 6 people running against him, but they know that they can't alienate the base that likes Trump because Trump has... I think that he might be here.
Can you smell chips?
See, that's the reason we're getting the doorbell is because we can't hear the door knock. I think it's here.
I think if you're delivering a Ring doorbell, you have to not expect an answer.
Hold.
Okay, hold. Meanwhile, I'll just go through the documents again. Stay there. So, meanwhile, while Eric is going to visit the dog, let's just take another look at our friends nitrogen, which is around 72% of the 78% of the atmosphere. They're triple bonded. They're covalent bonds. They share the electrons, and they share them nicely. There's no way that you can spin this that would make it less symmetrical. Same thing really happens with oxygen, even though it's only a double bond. You got covalent sharing of the double bond there. But then it really is when you get into the carbon dioxide. With the difference in electronegativity, that's why the electrons are out there. The same thing happens with water. The hydrogen can't hold onto the electrons as much as the oxygen, and that's where you get the hydrogen bond. Anyway, Eric's back. I feel like after saying that, I should do something like, this video is sponsored by Brilliant, the online learning. We've done some science. How come they sponsor every other science video?
I don't know if I can keep tracking the delivery guy because now he's just showing up outside my house. Should I have invited him in for a cup of tea?
Is he? Are you trying to track him after he's delivered the parcel?
Well, how long will it let me? I want to see where he goes next.
That's weird. I feel like that's...
So yeah, parcels here. Should we do an unboxing quickly?
Yeah, let's do a Ring doorbell unboxing.
Can we get sponsorship?
We've just done a science video. I'm going to see if Brilliant.org want to do it.
So we got the door mounting. We got the wedge.
Look at the size of that box for that package.
No, there's more.
Oh, good.
That's the chime.
How many Ring doorbell things have you bought?
Well, and this is the actual doorbell.
Nice. I know it's too late to...
This, more importantly, is the box. Look at that box.
Unboxing. That is a good box.
Nice box.
Yeah. I mean, the quick release mechanism's nice. Have you shown off your address there?
No, I've covered it.
Good. Gonna say. Don't have to go through and blur that in post. Yeah, they're good boxes with an easy release, but the stickiness when you pull the tapey bit off.
Oh, there's no tape.
Did you not?
There's no tape on this one.
Did you not pull the? Oh.
No, it was just the cardboard separated. This is a perforated box.
Okay.
I don't have it.
It's an M3. It's a classic.
Oh, I'm totally like a ventriloquist. Hold on. Hi there. How are you?
So hello.
Did the box talk?
I know. Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems with me, Stephen Allen, and a box.
Hello. Oh, good to see you again. How do we not have a BAFTA?
I don't know. Well, they couldn't deliver it to you for a start. If they tried,
Now,
I wouldn't have answered.
ding dong, motherfucker.
There's a meme. Surely that's got to be clipped as a GIF, isn't it? Oh, dear.
So,
I think we're done. Look at that.
yeah, done. Perfect time. I just missed it by that much. We nearly got it. But the dog didn't bark because he was so stealthy.
He was listening to the show. He was learning about covalent bonding in diatomic molecules.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's harder to show. I could have done the same diagram with H2O because, again, you've got that weird kind of bond, that shape, that V shape. But the methane one, it's pyramidal. You've got the carbon in the middle and the hydrogens around the corners. It's very difficult to draw that. You have to do like lines shading in what goes further into the page. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's the only reason we didn't do it. We could get CGI on it.
I'm struggling to open a box. I'm never going to understand that. Right. Is this our last show of the summer?
Have a look. I don't know.
I'm gone next week.
Oh, you're gone next week.
We may be we will be back. You can see Steve and I at various things in live gigs. You can see Steve at the Edinburgh Fringe.
Yeah.
Losing his mind, I'm guessing.
Should have been the name of the show. God, actually, it should have been the name of the show. It's a show all about Alzheimer's. Could you imagine if the show was called Losing My Mind? It's already, the title's a bit too spicy, but yeah.
I like a spicy title. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm plugging it, but keep an eye out. I'll probably tweet about it. There's an article that I've got coming out in The Spectator talking about my thoughts on... Well, my thoughts on Alzheimer's have all been massively outdated by yesterday. There is a drug that actually works to remove the amyloid proteins.
It only buys you 4 months.
Yeah, but it's
You've still got the show.
Yeah, 4 months from now I have, which is a bit pointless for an Edinburgh show.
Right. So is your show going to be disappointment about the fact that they've cured Alzheimer's?
Which might mean I could probably get to write articles. The amount of blogs I've been able to churn out, like what happens when science cures your Edinburgh show? It's not bad. I'll write that down. Someone write that down. There's no one over there. Write that down. Good.
Yeah. Well, whilst you were telling me that, my screen is updated. I'm no longer able to track my delivery person, but I can see the delivery photo where he put the package and he took a picture, and I can see his feet, and he's wearing loafers with no socks. Oh.
That's the kind of person that doesn't like man-made climate change. They want handmade artisanal.
He doesn't have any. Wearing fucking socks.
Young people,
How can you
man.
drive like that?
Young people don't wear socks.
Yeah, but these are like, I can't. I'll send you these shoes.
I'm fine.
I'll send them to you.
Nah, I'm all right.
No, you've got to see this if I've seen it.
I'm probably fine. Is this coming through on
Right.
Skype or?
Can I set? If we put it on Skype, can I Can you put it on the screen?
No, if you WhatsApp, can you WhatsApp it to me?
I can WhatsApp it. We're gonna end the show on this. This is important. It doesn't show my address either. Okay. Here we go. On its way.
There it is.
What?
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I mean, come on.
Just gonna download that and call it Ming. Because that's what it is. Here's the picture that Eric just sent.
No
Oh,
socks.
There's no need for that, is there? It's absolutely. Oh dear. Oh dear. Shouldn't be allowed out. Probably
He
isn't.
does have nice ankles though.
Yeah, it works out. But
I'm gonna keep that photo. Anyway, so there we go. We'll have a lovely summer. We will return in September. Keep an eye out. We'll tweet and things. I think it might still be on our Twitter. You can join our mailing list, which is great, although we've never sent an email. I should look
on it.
I should look sometime to see how many people have subscribed. Probably 14,000 people. No, 4. If you want us to come back, though, you have to put money in Ko-fi. No, you don't. We'll come back even if you don't give us money.
Yeah. Sad but true. Sad but true. Beautiful. Well, yeah. So enjoy your summer.
Enjoy your fringe.
Yeah, thank you. Not often people say that to me. And yeah, we shall all regroup at some stage. Stay in touch on social media and stuff. But until the next show, or whichever comes first.
Yeah. We'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.